Hi there, the good and kindly people of Wall. I haven't presented myself for a while. Much to your pleasure, I hear you say. But here I am, nonetheless. So I have written a poem, what I have wrote, as Ernie Wise might have said. And I've written something called The Balance of Our Gratitude. I wasn't sure whether to call it The Balance of Our Ingratitude, which I think suggests something of the dilemma of our gratitudes. Anyway, shall I start? I think I better had. There's some background noise. Hopefully there'll be no emergencies going past the window in Farnborough, as there normally are. There's usually someone getting stabbed, some drunk somewhere kicking off in the supermarket, or shoplifters swiping the entire contents of a shelf into a small shopping bag. Anyway, that's just my little moan about Rushmore Borough. Nothing for you to worry about. Okay, so this is called The Balance of Our Gratitude. And it goes like this. But what about his work, his words, his brush, his voice of truth? What about his courage, his willingness to stand alone? And what about her fearless heart, her love, her stoic reveal of proof? What about her motherhood, the foundation of her children's home? And what of our dismissal of good that might outweigh their wrongs, averting our eyes blindly, forsaking gratitude where it belongs? Recently I was listening to, this is on a smaller scale than maybe someone like Picasso, who was a brilliant artist but treated women very badly. Someone like, who give me flip? Wagner, who was a magnificent composer, but leaned slightly to the right, and unfortunately became the favoured composer of that man whose name shall not be mentioned, beginning with H. I was driving home and I was listening to the new Morrissey album. Now, Morrissey I used to love, and a lot of people used to love. Now, a lot of people pushed Morrissey away because he said some rather ridiculous... I mean, he's always said ridiculous things, even when he was a lefty. Not that lefty people don't say ridiculous things sometimes. But then he shifted, as he got older, as many of us do, well, not myself, we veer, oscillating wildly to the right. And Morrissey did that. And people, they just abandoned his work. And he's a great songwriter. He's got a lovely baritone voice. He's brilliant. He's great. He's not my favourite, but he's great. He's a really, really good creator. He's a good writer. He's written books. They're great to read. But unfortunately, he's lost his way. Should we disregard his work, which is brilliant? No. I refuse to do that. I can separate the art from the man. And sometimes, I think Marie Curie was the other, who in a man's world created amazing things, discovered amazing things. But because she was a sole female, didn't get the gratitude she deserved in that, because, whatever you want to call that, whatever you want to call it, some people would call that the patriarchy, and it God knows it existed, and it still exists. She didn't get the credit that she deserved. And that's how it goes. So it's the balance of our gratitude. Should we forsake gratitude because the person is seen, other than their art, as a bad person who did bad things, who said bad things? Obviously, there's a limit. You couldn't say Pol Pot was a great sculptor, and because whatever Pol Pot may have been good at, he wasn't good at not killing 20 million people. Neither was Stalin. So, and I think there has to be a limit, doesn't there? I don't know. I guess that's what I'm asking. I don't know. You probably know the answer as well as I do. Anyway, it's just a poem, it's just words put together, thrown up in the air and they come down. I don't know where they come from. And it's been nice to see you again, and it's been nice to see myself again in the camera. Actually, it's not been that nice, a big ugly mug. But yeah, I hope you're all well, and thank you. Just take this opportunity to say thank you for the people who've responded and been really encouraging lately. And to Wall, there you go, there's a thing I thought I'd never say. Thank you again to Wall, who've through my rehabilitation back, because I was once an outcast, and I did a pretty good job of outcasting myself. Yeah, of course there were differences, and I wasn't wrong about everything, but I was wrong about quite a few things. Life's a balance, isn't it? Life's a meeting in the middle. Look at what's going on in the world today. There has to be compromise, there has to be meeting, there has to be acknowledgement of yes. If I want to do this, I've got to do this. And if you can square that away with yourself, then that's all it is. And I've reconciled myself to some people, and it's been really a very, very healthy experience for me, and I'm grateful for that. Well, that's enough of me pontificating, and just look after yourselves, be cool, because the world's a really crappy place at the minute. Just try and love stuff, each other, yourself. You get an opportunity to be good, to be kind, just do it, because there's not enough of that. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. You take care, look after yourselves and each other. See you again. TTFN.